Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, shaking my brain nipples in order to fund a Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in Durham, North Carolina, and in Asheville, North Carolina. And last night, I in fact did receive my new M5 MacBook Pro. So I've been using my M2 MacBook Pro for a few years now, 2.5 some odd years now, and it has been an absolutely great machine. And I have now upgraded to this thing. I've been playing around with it for a day, so I figured I would give you my first impressions as an actual technology professional that doesn't care about the bezels. I was watching one of these YouTubers, these tech YouTubers, and they were comparing some Windows, a Panther Lake laptop compared to the M5 laptop, and they were like, well, as you can see, the M5's bezels are bigger. And I was like, I so don't care. But anyways, right, if you take a look at the machine, you will see, yes, in fact, it looks basically like the old machine. If you care about the aesthetics, you only get like this dark color now instead of this color. This is the one that I actually prefer. One of the things, though, I will say for the bezel people out there, which I find kind of weird, is that the power brick is completely white. So we have a black computer, a black cord, and a completely white power brick. It does appear to be the same power brick as the other one, which is a bit of a weird thing for anybody that cares about that kind of stuff. But anyways, if you take a look at this, it is the fully loaded version. If we go to About This Mac, you can see we got 128 gigs of RAM on this thing, and then we have 2 terabytes of storage. So that's the only thing that I skimped on. So this has the highest level processor. It has 128 gigs of RAM, and then it just has that 2 terabytes of storage, because that's basically what I need out of a system. One of the cool things that I did get with this, I have not gotten before, is we do have the nano texture display. So see how the old screen like really reflects light? And then notice that the nano texture is like, even when light reflects off of it, it doesn't have that glare. That is actually really cool. Again, especially as somebody who creates content, it's nice because I can sit here, like you don't see with this, you literally see a reflection of me, and in this you don't. I know it seems like a little thing, but that's kind of something there. But anyways, I don't know, when you use it, I mean, what am I supposed to say? It's an M series Mac. It feels about the same. The trackpad feels about the same. It is weird. I do have to say, I think there must be like a coating on the trackpad that goes away after a while, because I've noticed this with MacBook Pros. The trackpad always feels like great when you first get it, and it still feels fine until you use the new one. And the new one always feels like Teflon. I don't know. When we go here, we can see that I've been playing around with GPT-OSS, 120 billion parameter model. So that's one of the things with this. So I did this particular query before. So using GPT-OSS, 120 billion parameter model, we were getting about 79 tokens per second. We can come here, we can do this in verbose using Olama. We hit enter. You see it takes a second, but again, this is a 65 gig size model, 120 billion parameters, and which is actually much more than I normally need. I do like GPT-OSS, the 20 billion parameter model. That's kind of like my go-to one. But anyways, I don't know. Explain how to, change a query set to a dictionary in Django. So Django is a web app framework, so we can do that, and we'll see how this looks. We can see again, this is 120 billion parameter, And it's clipping along, pretty good. I would have to go back to see exactly how good all of this actually is, but it seems to be trucking along at a pretty decent speed here. And so that would not run at all in here. So this only has 32 gigs of RAM, so it wouldn't even be able to load up. Can't run there. And as you can see, it is going along. This is one of the reasons, though, you do need like injections to limit the response, because one of the problems you get to with these LLMs is they're just so verbose sometimes. It's like, hey, just give me the shortest. Give me the TLDR version. But anyways, if we go down here, again, that 120 billion parameter model gets you in at about 78, 79 tokens per second. That gets around 80. So you're looking at about 60 words per second processing there. So again, that's really not too bad. If your context window isn't fucking huge. If your context window isn't huge and you don't want an insane output, that's not too bad. So most of the tasks most people do, you could submit your entire 1,000-line Python script, and it should be able to analyze that in a relatively reasonable amount of time. You wouldn't want to put a million token context window into it. That might take a couple of days to process. But again, that's if you're doing a million token context window, you probably want to be doing that on the local machine regardless. So overall, I gotta say, as a new computer that I got last night, that's fine. It's fine. Again, I don't know, the power block. I do gotta say, the power block kind of bothers me. But other than that, it's fine. Look, it's fast. Just so you know, why did I buy this? So to be clear, this is actually gonna be my lab machine. This is for Silicon Dojo. This is actually going to remain my daily driver. So this is the M2 Max MacBook Pro from 2.5 years ago. This is where I'm gonna do most of my work. So email, writing up documentation, all of that kind of stuff is going to be here. One of the big problems for a lot of the projects that I've been doing is, especially with the AI stuff and other things, like you don't necessarily want to be running your code on your daily driver. Not a good security idea, let me just say. As somebody that's been doing it for a while, let me say that's a bad idea. So one of the things, I did need a new system in order to be able, basically to have that lab machine. And then one of the things that I've been looking at is when I teach the Silicon Dojo classes, just basically things like performance. So when I use GPT-OSS on the old machine, it's relatively slow. I've got to do the Eli dance during class. If you watch my classes, you'll see me do the Eli dance every once in a while. And so I was like, you know what, with this thing, I don't have to do the Eli dance nearly so much. The other thing too is for virtual machines. So one of the things that I like about the M5 is it has something called unified memory. So basically the RAM can be used for things like LLMs, but it can also be used for virtual machines. So again, you all know how I love my architecture. So I don't necessarily need incredibly powerful LLMs running all the time, but what if I want 10 virtual machines, right? What if I want to create a stack of LLMs, right? An architecture of LLMs, and I want to be able to demonstrate that during one of my classes. That's one of the things that this is going to be able to do with that 128 gigs of RAM. So basically it'll allow me to do, the vision models will work better, the image creation models will work better, we can use larger models, we can use multiple models for things, we can use the RAM for virtual machines, you can do all of that kind of stuff. And basically, again, when I'm doing a lot of things, I'm actually doing it in front of a class, so it is actually real time, so the faster your machine works, the better for everybody involved. Realistically, though, at the end of the day, I will say, when you say, should I buy an M5 MacBook Pro? So I don't know, can your credit card handle it? And that's really what it comes down to with this kind of thing. Like, this is fine. This is fine. Machine's perfectly fine. Again, one of the big things when you do YouTube videos, it's like a 99% profit margin. So for me, I don't really need a lot in order to do a lot of the things that I do. And so being able to splurge on things like decent hardware is honestly something I can do and just really not think about it too much. It's not really that big a deal to me. And I think that's one of the things that gets left out of a lot of these reviews too, is basically that whole idea of like, what is the value of money to you? And that sounds weird, but it's also true. Like when you're thinking about building out what you're doing, what does $5,000 mean? So again, with Silicon Dojo, we do the classes in Durham now. We're doing the classes in Asheville now. We're going to start going totally mobile. I'm hoping in the next 6 months, hopefully in the next 6 months, I want to be able to take all of this crap and literally hop on a plane and go somewhere. And I just want to go somewhere and do my work. I just want to go somewhere, be able to demonstrate all this stuff, be able to teach people, not have too much lag, not have too much problem, just do my job. Again, what is the monetary value of just being able to do your job? That's a big thing that, kind of gets left on the table for a lot of 18-year-olds out there. And so again, that's one of the other things with this particular machine is it just will allow me to do that type of thing. So it gives me a very powerful lab machine. It allows me to run large models, basically on the road, portably. It allows me to run a lot of virtual machines. Again, when we start building things like architecture and that type of deal. And then basically, that is what I'm looking at. And for me, the price point was adequate. I will say the nano screen, again, the thing that I'm really most excited about is actually the nano texture screen. That is actually really, 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 really cool. And the rest of it's a fucking MacBook. I mean, what do you want me to say? So anyways, there you go. There are my first impressions of the M5 MacBook Pro, the Uber system that I'll be using for the classes for Silicon Dojo. And of course, when I get a really expensive MacBook computer, the next class that I'm going to do is going to be a complete and utter lecture. There will be no code at all in my next class, because that's how we roll. So anyways, do remember I do these videos in order to fund a Silicon Dojo free hands-on technology education in Asheville and Durham, and hopefully going around the world, I don't know, at some point. If you would like to support the project, there is a donor box link down below. If you're in Asheville or Durham and you want to come to one of our classes, please take a look at silicondojo.com. That has a full schedule of classes. We got a lot of stuff coming up. And with that, see y'all later.